All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Here for the Hang. I'm your host, Carlisle Forrester. I'm here with my co-host,
Bryan Agnew. Welcome, welcome.
Y'all, we have the best first guest ever. First guest ever for season 2. You can catch her new HBO special called Someday You'll Die. We are here with the fabulous Miss Nikki Glaser.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
So great to be here. That sounded like I was being sarcastic, but it really is nice to be here. It's a nice studio. You're both nice.
We're so honored.
I just came from doing 2 of my own podcasts, and this one I don't have to run. I just have to like sit here and it's way easier to be a guest. I like when you were just starting the show, I'm like, God, starting a show sucks. You're just like, hey, like I never know how to sign on or sign off a podcast.
It's always an awkward
Still
feat.
figuring out how to sign on.
That's why
This
you
is
need
episode
like
3
a.
for me, so you know.
What'd you say?
This is episode 3 for me.
How do you guys know each other? How did you get on board with this?
So
You can take this
we
one.
met initially doing comedy back in the day
Mhm.
at like the Ha Ha Cafe.
Yeah.
And then we also worked together at one restaurant for a while.
And episode 1 covers all of
We
that.
Got it.
detailed
Okay.
that.
Okay.
We've
Got it.
talked
Been
all
over
about
it.
how we met. But he
Yeah, it
is
was
one of my
fun.
oldest friends in LA that has like made it and not moved away. So
It's crazy.
we're
9
going
years
on
later,
9
yeah.
years.
Wow.
It's nuts.
So he's like one of my oldest
And where are you
buddies.
from?
Originally Seattle.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you moved here for comedy?
No, I just moved here to get out of the rain, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like legitimately.
You were just
moved-
like, I just want to go live in
Yeah,
California?
It was just all my family's from Washington,
Uh-huh.
you know, and everyone stayed up there, lives up there, and I was
Yeah.
one of the first one to move away since my grandpa moved from North Dakota to Washington.
Oh my God.
So it was like it just felt like a new chapter to go down and do something else.
Is your
My-
family disappointed in you leaving like Carlisle's is?
No. If they are, they haven't
Are they
told
try?
me.
Do they think that you think you're better than them or whatever? Or are
No,
they happy
man,
for you?
They're very supportive.
You've gone
Cool.
Hollywood.
Very, very supportive.
Do they tell you you've gone Hollywood?
My uncles sometimes call me Hollywood.
Yep.
Which sometimes
It's always
I'm
the
like,
uncle. My uncle used to call me Hollywood as well.
They're old school, man. They're like, I have 7 uncles and 3 aunts, like a very big Irish family.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bust my balls a little bit.
Oh my
but
God.
they
You're
get it,
Irish?
too.
I couldn't tell from everything about you. That's awesome. So you guys met doing comedy and then you did start stand up here?
Yeah. Yeah. This was like the only ever inkling of like getting on stage was here.
But did you move here to be like an actor or something? Were you just like,
I'm
oh,
telling you, like my best friend at the time just got off American Idol.
Oh, who?
And Stefano Langoni.
Huh.
Ameri-
Shout out Stefano.
Shout out Stefano.
What's he doing now?
He's
Casinos?
still an independent.
No, that's a great
No, that
track
is a
for
great
a
gig.
lot of American Idol people
I
do
know.
casinos and you make great money doing
You can
it.
make really good money.
But then a lot like you know, I don't recognize many names from American Idol, but I don't watch
Yeah.
American Idol anymore. But how do
Me
you
either.
do?
Me either. He made it to the top 10.
Did
He
you
got to number
well?
7.
Hell yeah.
He did really well.
Listen, number 7s can once you're in the top 10, it's all everyone's kind of equal.
Yeah,
Unless you're
it's cool.
what was his name? Not Zendaya. Remember the
one?
kid that kept making it through?
I've
old-
never
old
watched
He's
it.
Egyptian, I think.
could not afford cable whenever it
I
first
don't
came
know.
out.
Really?
and
Oh my
don't
God, I
even
used to
know how
love
watch
American
it now.
Idol.
The
but
first few seasons were amazing.
oh my God, Kelly Clarkson. It gave us Kelly fucking Clarkson.
Yes.
Who was
Another
American
great
in second?
sweetheart.
That was Clay Ake. Wait, no,
No.
that was Justin Guarini.
Justin. And
Yes.
he's like, he's the guy that does the Snickers commercials now. The Prince.
I think he did. Oh
right?
yeah, he did that one. Yeah,
Isn't that what it like,
that was. Yep.
which is
I don't know what he's doing now.
hilarious.
That's not airing anymore. But I'm
Yeah.
sure that was a nice little paycheck.
Oh yeah. Nice
But
for
Kelly
old Justin.
Clarkson, she's killing it.
She is just someone. I mean, I love music, but I was never like a huge fan of hers, but whenever I see her on Instagram, I stop and I will watch the entire song that she sings, no matter
Yes.
what it is. Like her
That
voice,
voice.
it just like comes out so easily out of, and then she's so like personable. Like I've done her show a bunch and I always forget when I'm on the couch talking to her that she has the greatest voice maybe ever.
Yeah.
And
and she's found
has
like
this
the
whole other,
perfect thing for
Oh,
her to do
perfect.
because we can hear that voice.
Totally.
Now she's the show, but
Yeah.
it's like she's still performing.
my dog is under the
Can you
couch.
please show us this cute
Oh
dog?
yeah, you got to.
Where are you? Are you just
So
hiding?
Nikki
she
just
under there?
rescued this dog.
eating something?
which has gone through.
No, as long as she's not eating anything, she's just cowering, terrified. So that's fine.
At least?
But as long as she's not
projectile vomited moments before the show started, so she's probably good.
Exorcism vibes.
It's dogs are not nothing. I just want to say that to people. Like, they are burdens. They do impact my life. I don't have kids, and I can't even understand how that would affect my life. I think extremely negatively, and that's why I don't have them. But
Burden was a name you were kicking around.
I was kicking around the name Birdie, and it was short for Burden, just to address like.
I love that.
But then I didn't do it because I didn't want. Like, I think words have meaning, even if it's a joke. Like, I used to joke with my dogs and be like, I hate you, you're ugly. Like, because it's funny because they like anything. Right. But even if you say it cheerily, they can, it means something. And I don't want her to feel like a burden, even though you are.
She's the sweetest little burden. Okay, there she is.
But they do.
Oh gosh,
she'll come out. You want to come out?
She's camera shy.
You're talking about me.
She'll come out eventually.
The eyes of like someone like. Remember when she had the cry eyes? She's better now.
She has whenever Nikki big, bulgy, watery eyes. She looks like the emoji, the cry emoji that people do when they show you. You know, someone sends a picture of their baby to you, and you don't know what to say, so you just send cry.
You had the best line whenever you first got her, though. You told the girls chat that she looks like she's just sent her son off to war
all the time. She always looks like she's looking out the window at her son driving away to go give his life.
That has improved since you've come into her life.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, dried those eyes right up. I don't even do that. I sometimes will get a booger and then I wipe it into her fur, and I feel like that's the right thing. Why do we all do? I had a feeling. You ever do something that's gross and you go, I have a feeling everyone does this.
I have something. Sorry to interrupt. I have something even more gross. I feed Chloe's eye boogers to her.
That's probably.
It's the only way she will let me clean her eyes. No, she loves it. Like, as soon as you wipe it away, she's like, give me that. No,
you're so right. Dogs are disgusting. Of course, it sounds like a gross thing to do, but you really are giving her the ultimate treat.
Yeah, I'm giving
it
salty,
right back to her. It's dirty. It's like dogs love that shit.
But you have pugs, so they're very snotty, right?
I got French bulldogs.
There's a difference.
I'm not sure what it is, but
they have the.
They got the.
They're inbred to the point that it's a problem and they're going to die sooner than other dogs would. And it's really bad for the world, and you shouldn't have done that. But that's okay. You know what? They still deserve love.
I know you adopted. That's good. Yes. I got my dog, the second one, off of Craigslist.
There you go.
Listen,
you saved her from something.
Like, no, that's the same.
It's an important thing to do.
No, but if you was it one that was a breeder selling them on Craigslist?
No. I don't think it was
Here's the thing. If you got I'm not like someone who's going to make you feel bad about getting a purebred dog, even though you should feel bad about it when you like really think about things. But your dog is, of course you love, I don't want that dog to be put down or something. Like, I love every animal. The thing is that breeders are pieces of shit. I know that there's some good ones, but they work with animals, but they don't like them. They probably are the same way that like I think we have this misconception of like breeders as being like they love animals more than anyone.
Nope.
They see them as commodities. They see them with dollar signs in their eyes more so than you do with your animal. So I think instead of making people feel bad about getting animals from breeders, let's demonize breeders, and then maybe people will stop, because breeders are not who you think they are. And I know I'm going to get pushback from the 12 people who listen to this that No, I mean 12 breeders who might listen to this, but like I don't think you're good people. I think you probably got into it because you like dogs, but then now it's been ruined for you, just as comedy's been ruined for me. I got into it like it's not ruined, but like I had good intentions for comedy.
Yeah.
And I used to love it and be obsessed with it and enjoy it in a way that I don't really respect it that much anymore.
You're not going to sit and just like take in a comedy show and just enjoy it.
I sometimes will. There are moments where it breaks through and I go, wow, comedy really is life-changing and is so important. But I'm not, I just see the magic tricks now. And so I think I'm not. If you're a breeder and you some of you are good, but mostly I think you're garbage people, and you should do something else with your time instead of jerking off dogs.
Mine is definitely some kind of purebred designer something. Definitely. But I got her for free because somebody didn't want her the day before Thanksgiving. So,
oh my God.
That's crazy.
I feel like I won the lottery.
I never judge people with purebred dogs because you don't know how they got them. I'm not like, oh, you have a French bulldog.
I tell everybody on the street. I'm like, by the way, I did rescue it. Like, this was given to me for free. Like, I want to tell people.
I'm sure you get judged for it. And like, and it's tough though, because you go, oh, are we supposed to just like they're animals. They don't know they're purebred. I'm not mad at them. And the owners and it's tempting to have a dog that looks fucking cute.
Yes.
That's the temptation.
Yeah.
Which you do. I really want her to be on camera at some point.
She's shy.
Whenever she comes
She'll
out.
warm up.
She doesn't have any talent. She knows it,
gal.
and she doesn't want to be on camera.
It's all about her mama.
But I just think like this dog, like when she's not with me, when I'm like able to leave her with a sitter and go out of town, like it's so nice. And like you just have to walk them all the time, totally be aware of how I don't ever want her to feel like I have to pee, but I can't. Like I don't want her to feel like she's hungry. It's like it consumes my life to make her comfortable. And I kind of
am
on
the road with you for the most part, though, right?
Yeah.
That's
I hear
cool.
chewing something.
I know. I want to make sure it's not like.
Sorry, you guys.
Please,
No, don't worry
crawl
about
under
it.
our green couch.
Don't worry about it.
Here, let me just see. Talk amongst.
Okay.
Okay, I do gotta say the French Bulldog. So we got Louis.
Yes, defend
Louis
yourself.
I gotta defend myself. Well, I gotta defend breeders. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
no.
Not
Please,
breeders.
no. Defend yourself.
No.
Look at this.
So,
She's
there
so
she is. Yeah,
cute.
come on.
What if I get canceled from this podcast for saying that about breeders? I feel bad now. I don't think they're all monsters, just most of them.
Just
okay,
most.
go on.
Just
Tell us about
98.
Louis.
Okay, so Louis, 7 years old. Well, like my first dog outside of having a family dog. Amazing dog.
Yeah.
This is my wife's idea, my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Right. So she was like, basically, she had a friend she was working with, and his cousin, this is a hilarious story, his cousin got him for his wife as a surprise.
And she didn't want it?
On Valentine's Day. Hold on. After they just had twins. And they already had a French Bulldog. And
This guy's out of ideas.
It's insane. It's insanity.
Like
Crazy.
That's insane. Not everyone wants a dog.
No.
This guy really wanted to get laid on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
He's like, these
what can I
fucking
get?
twins are killing the romance. What is left that I
The
can
romance.
do?
Oh my God, dude. So anyway, so her coworkers, the cousin gave it to a coworker. We ended up taking Louis for a weekend is what it was pitched to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And dude, it was a wrap. Right when I saw him, it was like he's a little puppy.
You
We got
just
him
knew.
for free.
Yeah,
It felt like we were
that's
saving
a rescue.
him.
That's totally a
It was
rescue.
a rescue,
Yes,
and
that
then the
is a
other
rescue.
one was we got her during COVID from a Russian maybe breeder, but definitely
Yeah, but on
Craigslist.
Craigslist, yeah.
And it's like she was shipped in from.
Listen, if it
Russia.
wasn't you, it was someone
she
else.
escaped
It's
the
fine.
Ukraine war. You did it.
So that's a refugee
That's
dog.
It's crazy
God.
when they rescue them
Yeah.
from other countries.
It's wild.
But you go to I can't even like travel because I don't want to go to any place where there are like stray animals on the street. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It kind of makes you go. I can't go to most places
yeah.
because
lot
most
of
places
places.
You
just
just
stray
come back.
dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
Chickens in cages and I can't. I'm never going to Egypt. I don't want to see camels being thirsty, looking tired.
spitting on you.
I can't walk by Central Park with seeing the horses foaming at the mouth of the carriages, and when the carriages go by, I just go, "You're abusing animals." Like I just try to ruin this
Oh,
romantic
yeah.
evening for these people. I just like we can't live in a culture anymore where we like turn a blind eye to all this shit that we like. I never looked at a carriage ride and thought that was inhumane.
I know. I didn't know
Ever.
until
I would never know.
later.
100%.
It's like when you don't know to not look at like women, like when nude pictures used to leak and you didn't know not to look at it.
Right.
That was a great time because now I just found out about some celebrity that I'm like had a nude leak years ago. And I didn't know until now I know who she is. And I'm like, oh, I want to see it so bad. But I didn't look because I don't want to be a part of
you
the
know
problem.
her?
Even though, I just know of her, but I don't want to, I'm like lamenting the time in my life when I was like, could partake in bad things because I could play ignorant. Like I didn't know.
Right.
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 There was some
right.
good, like even like eating meat. I used to eat meat or whatever I used to do. And now it's like, you just are like, God, the more you know, the more fun is ruined.
You get stripped away.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
drink?
I do drink.
You don't look
Yeah.
like someone who drinks to excess, though.
I try not to.
Yeah.
I try not to. I used to.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot. That's, not the exact reason I moved away from Seattle, but I drank significantly more when I lived in Seattle.
Yes. Well,
know?
you drink more when your life isn't going well because it's the only time you feel good.
Facts.
And
Yep.
it
Yeah.
just makes your life worse because this one's newly.
Yes.
Have you talked about it on the pod?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I had
a little bit.
Figure. We're
Yeah.
so proud of you.
It feels
It's very
good.
cool.
It's
Thanks,
so
girl.
good. It's so
Thanks.
hard to do.
It's so
And no weed either.
life-changing.
It's impressive.
Yeah, everything.
That's the hard one. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think if anything, people could get like a lot of advice from like, how do you stay off weed? I mean, even myself, like, because I don't drink, but weed is the one that I'm like, I always convince myself, like,
Yeah.
do just a little. You can have a little bit.
I struggle with.
That's a repeat.
Does it taste good on the way up? It felt good to me. I needed a warm blast.
It's okay.
Of dog vomit. I'm so sorry if it got you guys.
No,
I'm so sorry.
Not at all. Not at
Just
all.
direct it
and
into
it didn't
me.
get on the couch.
I would.
Yeah.
It's okay. Are you okay,
Do
sweetie?
you need any Kleenex?
No, she's not even worried about it. It's like a normal part of her life today. I don't know what is going on.
She just had too much water,
she
maybe?
get a little
Well,
bit of
I think she
weed,
just
something?
eats dust, you know, like she's like starts licking
She's
things
so
back there and then
close to
she's
the ground.
coughing up the dust and then it just all comes up. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's why I stopped smoking weed.
that is
'cause I was
exactly
also
it.
Coughing up dust.
Don't do that. You get back here. I'm going to get you and make you cough up more clear. Don't
But
do
I
that
will
anymore.
say, like, you know, this isn't my first round with sobriety. And in the past, it was like weed was always in the back of my head because, you know, I was like, well, I can still be functional on weed. It doesn't like affect my life so much. And then it started affecting my life.
Yes.
Because Nikki knows this. I was like coughing up black oysters is what I would call them.
Have you heard of these?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is
man.
Is it from?
She's seen pictures.
bong?
She calls it Clams Casino because it's like
It literally was like the
whatever your
size of an oyster, but
Okay.
black.
How many of these were you coughing up?
Just all day long.
All day long.
Every day.
For real?
Yes, because of bongs and because of just how much
Tar.
weed it was.
like she could probably scrape her lungs and get like a good like enough
A little
resin
resin,
to
yeah, a
make
little bit of
a
it.
last minute bong bong rep.
there's- you know how you scrape a pipe whenever you're running low?
Yeah.
That's in your
Oh, yeah,
lungs.
of
Yeah,
It
course.
goes. It has
you
to
could
go
do that with my
somewhere.
That's a
esophagus.
fact. Yeah. It
But
does.
that was wild. But it was also like, you know, I find that weed just makes you fucking stupid.
Yes.
It
makes
makes
you
my
slow.
mind not work.
It definitely
And
makes
it's
your
not-
mind not
it's-
work. And sometimes it wouldn't matter. Like, you know, if you're going to go and do some mindless thing, it's kind
Totally.
of nice.
Totally.
But I'm not trying to do mindless things all the time. And then it
Yeah.
becomes hard to gauge when to stop it and when to start it. So it's like, you know, like say if I have a set at night, it's like, okay, so it was too much math of like, how long before the comedy set can I smoke weed and then come down and then be good? Like, just
Yeah.
enough with all that.
Yeah.
Enough. Like,
stressful.
now I feel fresh. I feel like I don't forget my jokes on stage as much.
Oh, that's really important.
You know, that feeling of like, oh, I wanted to say that thing about no more of that.
Yeah.
Like,
I just feel like my timing is off when I'm high.
timing.
I just am
takes
not
time.
as clever. I'm not as quick, which
Yes.
is everyone knows this. But then I will say that sometimes I smoke weed and like there's just because it will calm my anxiety by causing anxiety almost. Like it'll like if I'm a little bit too complacent and feeling a little bit depressed, it can like spike my anxiety, which gets me out of a depression.
Yes.
Makes me feel like I'm happier, makes me start like kind of thinking more abstract ideas. And sometimes I'll like come up with an idea, but generally I think it's a net
Yes.
negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
When you add it
And
all
you
up.
feel
Yeah,
like
right.
you're like, I remember my old belief was that it really like bonds you with people. Like, oh yeah, I want to
yes.
smoke a bowl, blah, blah. Like I remember, because I've had long stretches of sobriety. And then I remember Doug Benson asked me to do his show, Getting Doug with High. And I was like, oh, I can't, I'm sober. And I was like, damn it. And
It's
then,
holding
like,
me back in my career by not
Exactly.
smoking weed.
I really thought that. And then like the
Do
second
you know how many
that
people
I,
Doug Benson has enabled to continue their
Yes.
addictions by
Shout
justifying
out
that
to
they can
Doug.
only get a booking if they smoke weed?
yes.
Just be cool to
But
smoke with
the
them.
second, the second that I was not sober, first person I called, and I was like, and I've done the show enough times that I think we're good now.
You're good, yeah.
I don't need to anymore. But like, it doesn't ever bond you in the way you think it's going to. Like, oh, after we're gonna all go outside and smoke. Yeah, you're gonna smoke, and then you're gonna get quiet and weird and paranoid, and you're not gonna like add funny things to the conversation.
Yes.
This is just my experience.
That is
I think that's real.
listen, that's coming from a stoner who like wasn't getting like even a little bit like you were I can understand that would be the experience of someone who just smoked weed for the first time. Like it gets weird. No, you were experienced stoner and it's still weird and awkward
Yes.
and bad timing.
Yes.
Everyone's quiet and kind of thinking of their own shit and thinking about death. Like
Exactly.
I can't smoke weed or have any kind of weed in me before a flight. I've realized, like, I start worrying about it crashing, and I'm like, why am I inviting something into my body that makes me terrified to fly when I'm not scared to fly at all? Generally,
right?
Like, this is not a good thing to ever ingest.
No.
Yet sometimes it just seems like the best idea.
And the edibles, you know, people say like, oh, well, just do edibles. Like if you had the black mucus, like just do edibles. That is so much worse. Can I just tell you, like, edibles are the only time that I've legit thought I was going to die.
Really? Because of anxiety? And
because you ingest it too much, and it's like, how do you get it out? Like, you can't.
Oh, right.
It's like...
You gotta wait for it to wear off.
Oh, and I want an immediate high. Who's this person that's like
to wait 2 hours? Yeah, take a bite.
Use an oven. I use a microwave. I don't want to like wait around. Like, I want immediacy. That's why I like smoking weed, because you feel it right away. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like a slight buzz that I'm like, am I? I forgot.
We had some dishwashers at work that somebody brought in weed jelly beans, and then like a whole bag of them, and then they were like left on these plates that went to the back, and these dishwashers like didn't know that they were cannabis, and you're supposed to eat like 3 jelly beans. They, between the two of them, ate the whole bag, and they had to be hospitalized. They literally thought they were, it's not funny, but they were at work thinking they were going to die, and they were like trying to tell people in Spanish that like, no, I'm like dying, but because it was both of them, they were able to like put it together. What happened?
You guys, I've had that happen to me before.
Really? Where you got overdosed?
So first back to just the weed thing. Yeah. I smoke a lot. I just got to throw it out there. But with like,
I'm saving you a seat.
Like, did you smoke today? Do you smoke? You wake and bake?
Sometimes.
What's the day? What does it depend on if you do or not?
If he knows he's going to be interviewing Nikki Glaser later in the day.
Then I can't do it. Or maybe I do.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
But like also, so, you know, I'm unemployed right now, trying to find a job.
Yeah.
Not working.
Yeah.
I'll wake and bake, and then I'll go on a run or I'll work out. I enjoy that.
Me too. I like this one. I like working out after I smoke weed.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
And getting a little hot yoga in.
And then you sweat it out.
You sweat it out. You feel great afterward. And you're like, all right, cool. All right. So I keep it pretty okay with the weed. I've been smoking it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've taken breaks. Earlier this year, I was sober from January to April, no pot. The longest I've done in a very long time.
But what made you do that?
I just wanted to be sharp, like we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it felt like I wasn't, you know, it felt like there's a level of consistency you have when you're sober versus when you're stoned that you just can't get when you're consistently smoking weed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but you know, what I was doing occasionally was microdosing. And
weed or mushrooms. Okay.
And that was for a little bit. And then there happened to be some mushroom chocolate in the house at one point in time. And wife was out of town visiting family. I am there watching actually the roast of Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, you know what would be great with this? Just had some dinner. I would love some dark chocolate. I look in the house, look in the freezer, no dark chocolate, no dark chocolate. I remember, oh, you know what? I saw a bar of dark chocolate in the medicine cabinet. Let me go check this out real quick.
Oh my God, Bryan.
Go in there.
Oh no.
Have 1 square. And look, I was like looking on the packaging.
Thank God you didn't have more.
Oh no.
Wait, did you think
I looked at, I'm telling you guys, I looked at all the packaging, everything you could possibly look at to make sure it wasn't weird because I had never seen this brand. No indication. Had 1 square, delicious. Had another square, delicious. Went out, smoked a little bit of pot.
Sure.
Got the munchies, ate the whole bar.
Oh my God.
8
I'm
grams.
surprised that what? Yeah. 8 grams of mushrooms?
Ego death completely.
Wow.
It was
Wait a second. No. I can't even I think that to meet God, I think it's like 2 grams.
No, yeah, Nikki, it was like that.
Like a macro dose is I think 2 or 3 grams.
I think it's over 4.
Okay, 4. So you had double.
Yes. And it was, listen, I got off of work. I had to work the next day. I was up until 3 a.m. I immediately call my wife because I'm sitting there watching the roast and I'm laughing really hard. And it was funny. And like it was right after Hinchcliffe went.
Yeah.
And I started really feeling like, whoa, I feel good. And I was like, oh my God, I think that was mushroom chocolate. Call my wife. Did we have mushroom chocolate in the house? Yes. It was from the bachelorette party she was at the weekend before.
Why isn't it labeled,
dude.
Somebody made it in their kitchen.
It's not labeled, and it's in the nicest, coolest packaging you've ever seen. You're just like, this looks professional.
That is such bullshit.
It was wild.
It was like, did you have an ego death?
So
like,
yeah,
what they
so
talk about?
I called my best friend, called Stefano, still lives here, has a kid now. He's like on baby duty.
When he picked up the phone, does he sing?
Every time. And I'm like, listen, I accidentally just took some mushroom chocolate. Not important how it happened. I might need you to come over if I have a bad trip. He's like, okay. But I'm like, I got it. I'm good. I go in. I'm low key panicking, but I go in.
Yeah, you gotta just stay calm.
Are you crying? Because it makes like that wet eye thing that always like feels like
that's what's wrong with my dog.
Yeah, just on psilocybin.
Yeah. I give her a lot of chocolate. I'm trying to kill her, but she just has ego dog deaths.
Oh my gosh. I turn the fireplace, throw a record on. I'm trying to hang in there. And yeah, no, it was amazing. I was laying on one of our rugs and it started hitting and I closed my eyes and I could feel the vibrations of the rugs. And it was like I was looking internally and I could see like my nerve endings, and it was all in this cool rainbow color. And it was like, I'd flip my hands and I'd see one thing and then I'd flip them again and I'd see another thing. And then I'm like, I call my wife and I'm like, okay, I think it's all good. Like,
yeah,
I have my phone like in a pocket just in case, like, and she's sitting there and we're talking and I'm like, have we had this conversation before? And she's like, no. And then it's like a gong hit. And then it's like a reverberation of every instance just subtly different of when we had a conversation similar to that. Whoa. And it was like thousands of things. And then it clicked again and I was like above looking at myself in the living room. And then it clicked again and I was above looking at the house. And then it clicked again and I was out. And then I started going through all the trauma. And it turned into the worst trip ever.
No way.
Because you're like, so I kind of researched it. Essentially, your frontal cortex shuts down. Like all the different areas of your brain are communicating with each other that don't normally. Okay. So you're able to like kind of take away everything that's happened to you in life, right? And then it all starts coming back after you're trying to like, you know, work your way from being sober to going through that experience to then coming down. It starts getting those memories back. So it's a flood of like the trauma. They say it's like having 5 years worth of psychotherapy. Essentially.
Oh my God.
It was wild.
Wait, do you feel like a different person now because of that?
I feel amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up and I thought this had happened many times. Like I thought I had like a breakdown and I was like, holy shit, like who am I? What happened? Like, and my friend ended up coming over to like get me out of it. And thank God he did. Because if he didn't, like I was ready to call the cops.
You had to have something normal to focus on.
I didn't know what I had taken. I thought I took like...
Because you get so fucked up that you don't even remember that you did mushrooms and that you realize that. And when your wife is on the phone with you, what is she hearing you say? Like, what was her side of things? Like, what's she witnessing? Because that's always the interesting thing to me. I don't understand what you saw. You can describe it all you want and I'll never get it.
Of course.
But what is going on with you? What do you look like when this is happening? Like, what is she hearing?
She told me she was hearing me say, it's all groovy, baby. It's all groovy.
Oh my God.
Because I was like vibing. And then she just turned me
just
like...
quoting Austin Powers.
Yeah, dude. I think it was the colors. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so colorful. That's what it reminded me of.
Have you ever had an ego death trip?
Well, so one of the reasons why I got sober was because of mushrooms.
Oh, really?
Because this last time, I don't even think I've told you this yet. Like the very last night, I was in like a wine blackout and somebody gave me mushrooms. Mm-hmm. And so all I kept thinking about was like AA phrases, 12-step phrases. Mm-hmm. Like all this stuff from recovery came flooding back. And I was just like, you have to stop. Like I had a realization that I have to stop. I have to stop drinking. I was on my bathroom floor. I kept thinking of this one phrase, the elevator's going down and you can get off at any floor you choose. Meaning like you don't have to have some like crazy bottom.
Yeah, but your room might not be on that floor. Like, I know what you're saying. Like you don't have to hit a bottom.
You don't have to lose everything to like stop again. And it was a positive experience.
That's interesting.
Because I just felt so just sick. And it had just been like a bad couple of days. They did give me this like knowledge.
I do want to do it. Like I think that I've never had the ego death thing. I'm kind of scared of having all like the trauma come up or whatever I'm suppressing. But it's like And no one can really ever describe like what it is. Like even hearing you say what happened, it just doesn't really make sense. But do you feel like it's something you'd want to do again? Like it's getting you to a good place in your life? Or are you like, you saw it, you
Wait,
lived
you've
it?
never done it? You've never tripped?
Never tripped.
On
just
anything?
the micro.
Mm-mm.
Never.
Just micro.
Okay, so you have micro.
And like the one time that I took enough that it was maybe a trip, my friend was also, we were tripping for the first time together. And she was like, my tongue feels big. And I was just like, I can't. I went into like protector mode. Like I was like, I'm now babysitting.
Yeah.
And so I almost like overrode it.
You like turned it off.
I turned it off.
If you're mentally strong, you can override it. Like,
but
they won't hit you unless
I cried
you
at a
let
sunset.
them.
But I think most people do that in their daily lives. And that to me was like, I'm fucked up that I'm like, the sunset's making me tear
How am I
up.
enjoying this right now?
Yeah.
Dude. No, I feel a lot better. I think every single instance since then has been cool. It made me feel like there was an authenticity I wasn't having that bothered me. I wasn't leading life within a certain type of way, right? And like it's really just that simple in a lot of different ways, and how you treat people, your conversations, just being genuine, which I think is a hard thing to be in this day and age, you know?
I think it is, but I think it's getting easier because I've always found it pretty easy to like, or I've always found it like, oh, being authentic, like if that's I think that's kind of my talent is I'm able to do that. Yes. But I don't really think of it as a talent because I'm just like, you don't have to do anything. You just are yourself. You just say what you think. And if it shouldn't be a talent, but I think that right now, like the Gen Z and like people want that so much. I'm lucky that I'm like the thing that I'm quote unquote good at doing, or like just don't struggle being honest or whatever, is what's like a commodity right now. But I also feel like sometimes when I really get down on myself for not being as good as I want to be at things, you know, like I have been doing these shows recently, and I have like a writer's room helping me write these things, not my stand-up, but another thing I've been doing. And my writers are just so fucking fast, so funny, like thinking and talking in ways like, Carlisle, you witnessed it. Like they're just spouting off jokes like in a way that I'm like, I can't, I need to work on a joke, like a math problem, and then I'll like deliver it to you. But they're just like right out of the gate. I'm like, they're the funniest people. Like, why are they not famous? Why am I famous? This isn't fair. And then I get down on myself about that. And then I have to like somehow have like a little ego death of my own of like, well, you can't help what you aren't. You're just, the fact that you can't think like this person or be as funny as that person on the fly is not your fault. You're trying. And you just have to be okay with your limitations. But I think I struggle with that because acceptance almost feels like defeat sometimes. I don't know when you keep trying and you can get better.
Totally.
Or because being funny and being clever, there's not really a way to get better at it. Like there is, you can be around funny people, watch funny things, surround yourself with, but I don't really know of a training program to be funnier on the fly.
Kind of innate, right? Like
it kind of is innate. Yeah. And if you don't have it, you kind of can't get it. But I do believe there are things I can do if I surround myself with my funniest friends. If I watch a ton of Veep, I watch a ton of 30 Rock. If I've been just listening to funny stuff, I will be funnier. But it's I would like that feeling of like you can be yourself, but like stop trying to be a better version of yourself that you think is like you're gonna unlock. Like there's a part of me that's like, because I know I'm not as good as I want to be, then I must have potential to be that good. Because how could I know it if I know what's funny and I'm not funny? Then I obviously know what is funny. So why can't I create that funny? And then I get frustrated with myself. But then it's like,
Nikki, you are one of the best living
I get
comedians.
It, but I'm a great performer. I'm a great memorizer. I'm a great curator, and I am funny, and I can come up with really good jokes if I put my mind to it. But I'm not a person. There are people I could list, and I'm not going to because I don't need the comparison. But we all know comedians that were just like, dude, they're just funny all the time.
Yes,
and they could just get on stage and just talk, and they don't have to try. And like I hang out with him all the time. Like David Spade, I'm with him this weekend. And I'm like, write that down. Write that down.
Funny.
Write down everything you say. You don't even need an act. Literally, I don't mean to like, you know, his act is fucking amazing. But sometimes he's like, man, I'm gonna burn all these jokes after the special. And I go, then just go. He goes, what am I gonna take on the road? I go, just go on stage and say anything. You're funny all the fucking time, no matter
he says
what.
is funny. I've been to dinner with the two of you, and like what he says to like the waiter is hilarious. Like,
really?
Yeah, he like comes up and the waiter's like, "What can I get you to drink?" And we're both like, "Water," and he's like, "They're a lot of fun."
Yeah, like everything is a fucking bit.
He's never off.
He never.
You're like that too.
No, it's okay that I'm not like I know what I'm good. Like there are days where I really get down about myself, as you know, Carlisle. Of like, oh God, I wish I was. I'm shit. I've tricked everyone. Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
But I just have to remember, like there are things that I am exceptional at, and I'm like I try to celebrate those, but they're never what I want to be exceptional at. Like your friend who's an amazing singer probably doesn't sing that much. Like like probably does, but like when I find out someone's like an amazing singer, which I would kill to be, and I try to be all the time, like I take lessons, like, and some people are just naturally that. I'm like, and you don't sing? You don't go do karaoke every night and show this talent? Or someone's good at guitar. Oh, yeah, I played in high school and then I played in college in a band and I haven't played for years. I'm like, that's just sitting in you. You're not doing anything with it. It makes me so mad.
You love a karaoke.
I do love karaoke, but good singers don't like karaoke, is what I found.
I know, it's kind of a bummer.
You're very good at putting together a group of people.
That is what I'm good at. I'm good at curating.
You have executive produced this girls' chat that we're on.
Yes.
It's a group of 10.
I'm really good at putting together groups of people.
Yes. Yeah. And you've brought us on all these trips. And honestly, like for this amount of girls to get together and go like on vacations and not have any issues and have the
zero
best
issues,
time.
Like not even in the inkling of an issue.
And
like,
also,
it's amazing.
I was blown away by the fact that none of them drank. I mean, this is one of
no one drinks.
No, but do not.
And we didn't meet each other in program or anything.
Not because that they had a problem. Like some people have chosen, but like just because they don't. And like coming from Mississippi, I did not know a solid group of 10 people like that would go on vacation and not do that.
Guess what the root of most girls fighting is?
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Exactly.
What's the root? Any couple that gets into crazy fights, generally, you know how it starts.
Yep.
One of you is drunk.
That's
it's like
it's true.
The only time people fight. It's almost the only time people fight. And if they fight outside of being drunk, it's probably needs to be a real issue. It's a real issue.
Right.
But otherwise, like couples that get into fights, it's always someone was drunk.
Yeah.
Girls fighting with each other. Someone gets drunk enough to like say the thing they've been wanting to fucking say. You know, like when you eliminate that, there's no
that the truth comes out when you're drunk. You know, some people say that. That's not true at all.
No, it isn't. I mean, I think to some degree it is, because it's like I always like the thing about, you know, because I think so many people justify drinking because it's liquid courage.
Yeah.
And it makes people more social. Like, thank God for drinking for me for college or you know, even sexual relationships. Like I was someone that was really scared of sex and boys, and like if I wouldn't have drank, I would have never been able to like kiss a boy for the first. Like I was just so fucking or you know, people, there's performers that would have never gotten on stage had they not been able to have a couple beers in them first, and now they don't need it anymore. But it helps you like get rid of that fear. But it's not courage. It just makes you dumber.
Yes.
So it dumbs down your fear response, which is a good response to have in most situations. But it doesn't, my joke is that if it was courage, firefighters would be getting loaded before they ran into burning buildings. But they're not, because it makes you stupid. It makes you slower. It makes you stupider. It makes you, and that's why you make out. That's why, because, you know, all the things you do when you're drunk, dancing, being like loud and proud, like it's all embarrassing things that your brain is telling you usually, no, don't do this. Yeah. And literally, I can't name one person that I think is better to be around when they have more than 2 drinks in them than zero
I
drinks.
never let Nikki see me. Whenever I used to drink, I would never.
I would
be fine with it. Like you could be wasted around. Like you can protect me from that, but like I would never judge you for that, because I know you're wasted and I understand what it is. Like it's like seeing your friend on like her period or something. Like it's like you're being possessed. I wouldn't be like, this is who she really is. You know, like I would have known, but I understand you not wanting to see that. But I think even like 2 drinks and then a sip more, your friends just start to get like not fun to be around, and they're loud and they're not listening and they're just screaming at you. And
I feel it now so much now that I'm not drinking, and it's almost like my hearing is more sensitive or something. Like I'm just so aware,
because you're like dulled
of people being loud.
Yeah,
just even one drink makes people so much louder.
Yeah,
and I try to have patience with them, because I think about all the times I must have been pretty fucking loud.
Yes.
So I'm trying not to like let it get on my nerves too much, but somebody's loud ass laugh, you're just like, is that really how you laugh? Like, I've never noticed that.
Yeah, it just never makes anyone. But I would say there are a lot of people that are way better with one drink in them or two drinks, like way better.
I think I was better at like college dating, like you're saying. Like I would need one or two, like just to kind of take the inhibitions out.
None of us would exist if it wasn't for drinking.
Yeah,
right?
That,
no
like,
one would fuck.
I don't know if it's helpful the older you get.
I think that's a t-shirt.
You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean? It's not.
I don't think drinking, like, you know what I mean? Like the older you get, the less helpful it is in any of those situations.
Worse.
You're so right. Like it only impedes your life. But I will say, when you're young and you're terrified of everything, like, I think it's extremely hard for a guy to make a move on a girl that he might get rejected by, or a girl to put herself in a situation where she feels like her body might be judged and she feels fat and ugly, whatever it is. Like we're all, and like having one drink, I don't encourage it to anyone listening that is struggling with those things, but like it does make it. I would never have had sex had it not been for drinking ever.
When did you stop? Didn't it involve something with?
It was just like a really bad. It was. I got it. I was getting. It was 2011, so it was 14 years ago or 13 years ago, and it was because I had just gotten my first TV show. It was my first pilot for my first TV show. We got a pilot at MTV, and I was just so the hangovers. It was like I was acting like an idiot when I was drunk, but it wasn't like to the point where that was like affecting my life. If anything, it was probably like making more social and like I was having fun, but it was the hangover. And I was just like, if this show doesn't go and I can point to being drunk and hungover as the reason it didn't, even 1% of why it doesn't go, I will not be able to live with myself because I chose alcohol over this opportunity. I was like, so I have to get it out completely because I can't ever blame it. Like that's the same thing with like the roast, or even when I did Dancing with the Stars, I realized like I can't smoke weed and train for this. Like I can't remember dance moves when I'm stoned, and that sucked so much because it was the worst month of my life in terms of anxiety, and weed was the only thing that me and my person that I was spending a lot of time with on the show had in common. I won't say who. It could have been who knows, one of my producers. But and it was the only thing that I had in common with that person, but I couldn't do it because I was like, I can't fucking dance on this stuff, and I can't train. I can't be good at roast jokes on this. So like before I do things, I have to get it out of my life.
Totally cut it out.
And that's how I felt about drinking. But drinking, I just never picked up again. Weed, because weed is a little bit more insidious. It doesn't. It is. It's not as loud of a problem. You can do it. You can do it in public. You can. It's like having a little flask in your fucking sock, having a little vape pen in your pocket.
A little one.
A little hit.
And you feel just kind of nice.
And then the vapes now are so fucking ridiculous. I was just reading an article in The Atlantic about how weed is just too strong now, which we all know, but you can't buy weed. Weed is now being... weed makes money from people who are addicted, and people who are addicted need 25% at least.
It's being packaged in a way where you're like, oh, it just looks like candy, and it's like 50 times stronger than
there's no market for people who are light users. Like they're not making money off of light users, so there's none available. I go to a weed shop and I'll be like, I want your lowest THC. It's 23%.
Oh yeah,
that is so much. Like I'm looking for like a 7%, like even 5%, like a little vape. That would be so perfect, but they force you to be addicted. Yeah. And then you will sometimes, be used to vaping off of like a little light vape that you have that maybe was running out of batteries or something. And then you'll get a strong one and you'll take one hit, and I'm fucked up so that I have to like cancel a set because I can't function or think, and I feel this panic. I can't go outside. I can't walk my dog. I'm like nervous about traffic suddenly. Do you like in the street? It's like from one hit.
Yeah,
do you
it's so dangerous.
That's real.
That I picked you up from doing the Joe Rogan podcast, and you like grabbed what you thought was a kombucha. But it was
I got it from Joe's podcast. Yes. He was like, take whatever you want. They had all these kombuchas, and I grabbed one that was like the black
there's
label.
Some that are alcoholic, and it was a black label.
Yeah, like hard kombucha.
And she's taking like this big swig of this, and I was like, Nikki, that has alcohol in it.
And I stopped. And
she stopped away.
I will never, like, because I've accidentally sipped alcohol a lot in this past 13 years.
Yeah.
And I never am like, no, I'm not sober anymore. I just go, enjoy it, bitch.
Yeah.
You just got a little treat. And I always am like, woo! We like turned up the music. I was like, I got to drink and I didn't even know. So you just get to enjoy it a little bit.
Little free laps for you.
Free laps. Is that what they call it? That's funny.
That's amazing.
But that Rogan podcast, I remember going over there and being like, I should smoke weed before I go in. It's like Rogan, right? There's just a voice in my head that was like, just don't. And like, maybe if he lights one up, like have a puff. And I'm so fucking glad I didn't. Like, that is not the situation. I've fucked myself so many times being like, you should smoke a little before you do this thing. I'm never sharper. But it's always those are always the times I want to smoke because I'm nervous.
Right.
And I want to get out of this feeling of discomfort. And so I just want to reach for something that's going to just like kind of take the edge off. But it makes me dumber. Like I did Bill Maher's podcast the other day and he smokes weed throughout the whole thing. And
was he just smoking the whole time?
Yeah, he just smokes the whole time. Oh, wow. It's crazy. Yeah. And like strong stuff too. And I smoked a little the last time I was on, and I think it made me I wasn't as interesting. I was a little too in my head. And this time I wanted to smoke it so bad because I was about to go to a bunch of Emmy parties afterwards, which I like going to parties stoned. That's not a problem for me.
Time, yeah.
And I was like, I was like, if he offers it to you, you can have. And he just didn't. And I hate when I make a rule for myself like that but I didn't do it. I'm so glad I didn't because I was so much sharper and I felt like I didn't leave. I did leave being like, what did I say? But I was able to remember what I said to ask them to take it out. Like if I would have been stoned, I would have just been so ashamed. I wouldn't have wanted to look at it. I wouldn't have wanted to think about it. And then it would have just gone out. And also, thank God, pot makes your eyes fucking look tired and old because that's also a reason I want to more than anything is like I can tell when I'm stoned in anything I do. Like I've been stoned on some really important things in TV that I've done and I can't even look at pictures from it or like see a still or watch a clip because I like am like so disappointed in myself. Like you would have been better if you weren't, even though I don't even know if that's true. There's sometimes I'm better when I'm stoned.
That's discipline though. I mean, that's a lot of discipline. Do you feel like your career kind of took off when you decided, listen, I'm not going to do these certain things before shows and then it kind of had a ripple effect?
There's no way that it is not been extremely helpful for me to set parameters and be like, you're not allowed to smoke weed anymore. Like I have Golden Globes coming up and there's like a part of me that's like, you should, that's in January. It's end of September right now.
So amazing.
And I'm like,
congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Wait.
That's so cool.
But that I'll need to start. I won't smoke all of December. Like December 1st, I'll probably be like, nope, a month out, you got to just be completely clear headed and it'll be tough. And I'm kind of like, but yeah, I think discipline is 100% of why I'm successful.
You are one of the most disciplined people.
And I just hear that. That's not me actually feeling it because, I always feel, and I'm sure you guys do too, no matter how much you work, you feel like it's not enough. And you're doing the wrong kind of work. And you're like, because I'm just like, I just show up for things. I don't really like do the work that needs to be done. Because sometimes I do. Like for the roast I did for the Golden Globes, I'll work.
You need to like truly step up. Like this is what I need. This is to get to the next level of the game.
Yes.
If you will, whatever. Like this is what it is.
Hard.
Oh, God.
And stand up for me is at this level isn't hard. It's fun. And so that's hard for me to put the kind of effort that I need. Because I used to put the effort that I put into stand up, like that into the Golden Globes or the roast, into stand up when it used to be hard.
Right.
And when I used to be nervous about it, I'm doing a 5-minute set this week and it's a guest spot. It means everything. I might get booked at this club. I would like work all day and write all day. But now stand-up shows, they're going to come whether or not I work all day.
You're at that point.
And that speaks to it. Like I'm allowed to be a little bit easier on that and not work as hard but there would be,
because your schedule is so grueling.
I'm almost looking forward to a moment on stage with stand-up where I kind of have a reckoning where it's like, you can't do this. Like you have to fucking start working really hard. And I will. Next time I'm on tour right now and I am actually working hard. I found other ways to work because I don't want to sit down and write stand-up. So I brought friends with me on the road to watch my stand-up set and force me afterwards to talk about the jokes I just did, work on tags. And like, because after I get done with stand-up, I want to fucking flush what just happened, not think about it, not talk about it. Let's eat dinner, let's hang out, let's play music. And let's like, and so now I know that I'm never going to sit at a cafe all day and write stand-up. So you just have to like figure out ways to trick yourself into working. And if I'm paying for people to fly out and watch my set and take notes, I better fucking listen to their notes after I get off stage, or that's a waste of my money and a waste of their time. So I like set up things so that I'll feel obligated to do the work. Right. But it's tough for me.
That's huge though. I mean, to be able to even have that humility, like as someone who has as much success as you do in stand-up comedy and everything else, and like have people come in, critique a little bit, like that's big. That's not everyone does that though. Like, you know what I mean? That is.
No, because some people, well, I don't, Bryan, I fight it though. Like, I don't want to hear their notes. I don't want criticism. I don't read anything online. Like, I'd be a better comedian if I had feedback and I like got more critique and if I watched my sets. Like, I can't watch my sets. I can't listen to my sets. I don't like to write stand up because I feel like when I write it, I see that I'm not as good as I want to be. And so I just write on stage or whatever. Like,
do you still record your sets?
Every single one. And I've never listened to anyone ever. So there's like so many jokes in my stand up, like on live shows where I'm like riff something on stage, which isn't, people are always like, you just riffed that? You can't. And it's like, well, I would have riffed it at a Starbucks too. Like, and no matter where I came out, it just came out.
It's the same thing like in a conversation whenever you're on stage. It's like you want to say things until you can see the person is getting it, nodding or laughing, whatever the case may be. And you're going to talk until they get it. So like, that's how the tags come out, because you're just like, they didn't laugh big enough. So I'm just, like, my brain just works like that, where you just say something because you're like, no, it should have been a bigger laugh. And then that's how
let me help you understand it more.
Exactly.
No, you still don't get it. Here's another analogy. Yes, totally.
That's all it is. And that's why the recording is so important, but it is so hard to listen back. It's cringe sometimes.
It is, because I don't, and it's so ironic because you don't want to listen to yourself or watch myself. Like, I have, a team that posts my clips, because when it was up to me, I mean, I have hours and hours of clips that are like, specials.
Yeah.
I wasn't clipping anything. I was like so far behind in the social media world as a comedian because I didn't want to look at myself. I didn't want to have to look at the clips, even reviewing. Like, at this point, I don't even like, I'll mute it and I'll make sure the captions are what I said.
Yeah.
But I won't listen to myself. I don't want to see it. And it's so ironic because I'm expecting people to pay money to come see me and I can't even watch myself.
There are times I've brought up jokes to you and you're like, that's a joke of mine. I'm like, yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
Imperfect.
I don't remember
reference
so
special
much.
And you're like, oh.
But that makes sense because it's been so long.
Because you just let it,
Yeah. And once you film it, you like forget you did it. But yeah, like, and I've been doing it 20 years. So like now it's like, it's time to start forgetting stuff. Like you gotta.
Right.
I have too many. I mean, how many, there's no way to put a number on how many jokes you've actually written. Like, have you seen that Joan Rivers documentary where she has every joke in like a library, like filing cabinet?
She has like 80,000 jokes. I'm not kidding. That's Chris, my boyfriend, is working on a Joan Rivers project right now, and they have access to the jokes.
She's
and there's
amazing.
literally, I think there's like 80,000 jokes.
But to me, it's mind-boggling that she knows what they are, like specifically what they are, and is filed away like according to category.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of joke like writing and like organization that I really admire. Because it's people like Joan who are just, just like very fast talking jokes and don't have a lot of like meat in between. Like my stand-up has gotten a little bit like, sometimes I'm just like, bitch, get to the point. Like everything you say should be funny. Like that's what you started out doing. And somehow you got more like loose with it, because that's what stand-up became. It became more storytelling, it became more casual. And now I'm trying to tighten it up again, because I really don't have a lot of patience for me to watch stand-up with a lot of, just get to the punchline.
But I do think
even the setup should be kind of funny.
As you get more famous, people love it more because they feel like, well, no, I was going to say they just want to hear you talk because they're like, they feel like they're having a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And so they kind of like it. They don't care about like the word economy. They're like, oh, we're listening to Nikki Glaser right now. Like, and anything you say, they're going to hang on to. And that's why you should see live stand-up.
And that's so funny.
Live stand-up is never going to be the exact same twice. Like that's what's so great about it.
Yes. Well, some people it'll be the same thing twice. A lot of people actually, they just follow a script.
Names.
And that's like what I don't like about stand-up. I there's some joke writers that are incredible, but it's just so performative now. Like I just don't like stand-up that like just talk how you talk. I mean, we got to turn it up a little bit, but people are doing these massive act outs and people who are doing like, and I was like these faces that you're like, were you really like that? And like, are you really surprised by what you just said that we all collectively know you've said before?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to get away with I know some people in the audience are naive enough to think I'm coming up with the top of my head.
Right.
I'm not talking to them. I want everyone, we're all on board that this has all been written before. And I'm going to say it in a casual conversational way, but
right.
I'm not trying to get you to think that I'm like I'm not laughing at my own jokes unless it really does make me laugh. Like sometimes I'll say something and I go, I took that one too far, and it does make me laugh, but there's so many like fucking tricks. But I was just talking about this on my podcast, like so many people laughing at your own joke. I mean, Chappelle hits the mic on his knee. He doesn't, but he doesn't need
Kevin
that.
Hart too.
But he does it, and it works
a lot
because it's really, and I don't even begrudge them, dude, because it's really fun to watch someone laugh. Like it's fun. It's when you see Dave Chappelle tell a joke and then he bends over because he's laughing. So I like it, even if I think it's performative, because he's a good enough performer, he can get away with it.
But other people that are not Dave Chappelle should not be doing these tricks.
Yeah, I just think laughing at your own jokes is a really easy way to get people to laugh because it just is a laugh track when there's an absence of one. And then I think some of the other tricks, I don't even think they're tricks. I just think people need to I think what people want from stand-up is not a memorized monologue with just you can, no matter what your act is, you can always adjust it to the setting and make it feel like this is for this. And it isn't like I'm just reading a monologue as an actress. But I think in the beginning, everyone starts out sounding scripted. I know I did. Like you can't not
of your favorite comedian.
Yes. But I think that, and even I find myself, there are times that I do the tricks too, where you go like, you will say something on stage that's hilarious. You like misspeak, and the thing you said you misspoke is fun, and then everyone laughs, and then you go, let me recreate that tomorrow, and so you misspeak again. And I hope people know that I know what I don't think I'm tricking you into thinking I just came up with that for my special taping. Like I have a hard time when people do that for specials, but also I think that most of the things that I roll my eyes at that work for people, I'm just probably jealous that they're willing to be an asshole like that. Like, and I'm not willing to, like, I'm always playing to the back of the, like, I'm playing to a comic who goes, I know what she's doing there. I want comics to go, dude, that was fucking good.
Right.
I even though comics aren't the ones paying, they're getting in free. They aren't the ones that are the tastemakers.
Never even see mine because I go first, but
no, I mean most comedians aren't being watched by comics, but like
don't even even
I'm in the back watching
what they're gonna say.
I'm still doing the bringers and the open mics, baby. I'm still back there going and appreciating. Like that's where I feel like I'm at, you know what I mean? Like that beginning stage.
Okay, how many years?
I mean, I would say since the pandemic was over. I gave it a toe dip when Carlisle and I first started. Had some shows, but consistently since 2022.
Oh, so you're like in it, and you're like loving it, and like you're in that early-ish stage of
100%.
Like seeing the world through a stand-up lens.
I've always been
wanting to talk about it, wanting to hang around it.
It's always been like this fear, right? Of like, oh, got to get back on stage. Like I did it before, got kind of swept up in having a job that wasn't in comedy and was within entertainment, thinking I wanted to do something else. And then kind of not necessarily the mushroom trip, but definitely like COVID made me realize like, dude, I'm not doing what I want to be doing from a creative perspective and jumping back in. And it's like, I'm such a fan.
You're like, I gotta get on some of these Zoom shows.
Yeah, a little
gotta
Zoom
play some
show.
Of these parks.
What was it called? The audio app. I forgot.
I always forget. Oh yeah, the audio app, the Clubhouse. Yeah, Clubhouse.
Did some shows on that, baby.
Well, that's tough. Like
it was,
that's the weird thing is like when you're starting out is the worst rooms you do that are the most brutal. When really, it's like experienced people should be navigating those spaces, not inexperienced. So you really, it's so tough. But like, if I was starting out again, like I think the fastest track is to just like, and I still tell myself this because I get swept up in it. I'll see a comedian that I admire and I'm like, I want to write like that. And it's like, well, that's not me. And that's not what's funny about me is the way that guy talks. Obviously, I admire something about it. So there's something me-ish about it. But like, just, I think sometimes when I'm struggling with writing, it's because I'm like, I don't want to tell the world anything. And when you're really your best is when you're like, I'm dying to say this thing. That's what stand-up is. It's like, I need to tell people this thing that only I feel like I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you always start from a place of that, because I can see where you're at in stand-up of like, what's marketable, what's going to work. That's working for that guy. He's getting something because he's got that character thing. Maybe I should do a character like, most likely that guy is that guy.
Right.
And I think I was always chasing man, I wish I could be that person and have a thing, and not realizing that I do have a thing. It's just I don't notice it because I'm in it.
Yes.
Well,
and
also
so you just gotta find yourself.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna say. It's like just having that authenticity. Like you guys are talking, you guys are friends. Like taking that stories that you've experienced in your own life, making it funny, going on stage, doing that. Your authentic self is up there.
Yep.
That's what's the funniest part, right?
Well,
like, is
being
that
authentic up there is so it's
Vulnerable
that,
as
but
hell.
it's like being on stage with all the lights and all the people looking at you and not looking nervous,
Right.
no matter how that manifests for you,
Yeah.
is the most crucial thing. And that's why you go do tough rooms. That's like the writing. If you could just get that out of the way, people could be great stand-ups within days with the writing, because some people are just know what to say and what's funny, but like just having that comfort on stage when people look at you and aren't worried for you,
Right.
because that is honestly what
They
holds
feel
so
that.
many
Because they
people
will
back.
not
is-
laugh if they are worried at all.
No, because everyone's biggest fear is what you're doing, and they're
Yeah.
projecting onto you like, oh my God, I would hate that if I were her or him or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're worried for you. But if you look like, even if you could bomb, but if you just look comfortable, people will think you fucking killed. And that's like, that really is I recently,
why
I did a
just-
show in Vegas 2 nights ago, and I wasn't having that good of it. Like, I wasn't doing well, but I didn't care.
And you called
I
it out,
knew-
probably.
Yeah, I kind of did. I was like, you guys didn't like that one? I
Yeah,
go, you know what?
That's always
But
what you got to do.
I wasn't nervous. Usually when I don't do well, I'm like, fuck, let me get out of this. And then it makes you more nervous and look more performative. And then they are even more nervous for you. But I just like sunk into it and was like, actually, I stand by that joke that I just did. And I was just, and no one could tell that I didn't have a good set afterwards. It like, I couldn't even tell. I was like, I know I didn't because the laughs weren't there.
Yeah.
But everyone walked away from being like, she just killed. And I knew it was all about my confidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was just comfortable up there
Yeah.
with a little amount of laughs I was getting and didn't need more. And I didn't think about it till I was just saying that, but I was like, oh yeah, I had that moment this weekend of like, oh, I was just so comfortable up there that it was enjoyable for everyone to watch, even if it wasn't the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And that really is half of stand-up, is just like being easy to watch and not being nervous for them. Like, I can't think of any great stand-ups that like their aura is nerves.
That's a fact. They're always confident in their skin.
Always.
Well, your special is amazing.
Thank you.
It's
It is
one
very
of my favorites to watch.
That's so nice.
Everybody needs to watch.
Do you see me wincing? I'm like,
Someday you'll die.
I'm like, really? Like, it's like I had to watch it so much that I ended up hating it. Like, I didn't even know. That's the fucking irony. Is like, by the time you see a movie or anything, a special, the person who made it doesn't even know if it's funny anymore, because
Right.
nothing, even the funniest thing in the world, can't be funny if you watch it 1,000 times. And you just go, I hope this is good. So I'm happy to hear that, but I don't.
I was honored to
excellent.
be there.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were there,
And I watched both. There was 2.
It was in Seattle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
More-
yes,
more-
it was
yeah,
at the
yeah.
Moore.
Hey, let's go.
The first set was ruined because the mic, we forgot to paint it black hours before the production. I was like, oh, isn't this supposed to be black? Because it was like a silver kind of shitty mic. And they go, oh yeah, let's just paint it. And none of us, like no one on the entire production, not me, not anyone, was like, maybe the paint won't dry within 2 hours. And so I'm on stage and like, the mic hit you in the face you don't realize, I didn't know the mic hit you in the face until we were 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And luckily someone started to see a 5 o'clock shadow emerging on my face as I rubbed it everywhere. It was very subtle, but like the 20 minutes was completely ruined. But all the people that are working the cameras aren't really looking at my face. They're just kind of like,
There's
so no one
many
caught
moving
it.
parts.
Oh,
Except my boyfriend, who like it was very aware of like, if
Okay,
she's not
cool.
hot in this, like we're not gonna be able to put this out. Like he knows how insecure. So he was like,
Thank
guys, what's on her
God.
face? And so we had to stop down and go back 20 minutes and do a whole first 20 minutes
wow.
over on the
And
first show.
it was still amazing.
But it was
Still killed.
a lot
And
of
no
things.
blackface was committed that night.
Yeah, oh
And
my God,
that's
that was
what's
almost-
really
That would have been a problem.
It was like Hitler mustache, blackface. Could have been bad.
It was
But
amazing.
I was very tan.
It's on HBO. If you guys want to watch it, Someday You'll Die, and you're single. Someday
I was
You'll
like, I am?
Die.
Yeah, I wrote a song for the special called "Someday You'll Die."
Which
That's
is
on
very
Spotify.
catchy.
And yeah, I have a podcast, Nikki Glaser podcast.
Nikki Glaser
and
podcast. We love it.
Golden Globes, January
Golden
5th.
Globes.
Golden Globes.
I'm so excited for that.
girl.
Thank you. I am
Truly.
I'm not yet. I am, but it's
You're
like
gonna-
it's a little backpack I'm carrying around with me all the time that's
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
weighted down. And
We cannot wait.
January 4th, I'll feel amazing. Because it's January 5th.
Okay.
But January 4th, I know I'll be like, this is going to be the best thing ever. And I will not be nervous the day of. I'll be like, this is fucking in the bag.
And then the night after
December
it's done,
17th, I'll probably cry a lot. Like, I know how it goes for me. Like, 5 days before, I'll have a fucking meltdown of like, this is horrible. I'm horrible. Everything sucks. Come out of it 4 days before a little bit, start to feel a little bit better and like keep chugging along, but it's still like not gonna do a good job. And then day 3, I'll just be like, it doesn't even matter. Like I'm just gonna do my best. And then day 2, we'll like 2 days before, we'll tweak things enough. Then I'll be like, oh, we'll write some new stuff. And then day before, we'll master it and I'll feel fucking amazing. And then the day of, I'll be like, I just have to stand there and read. It's gonna be awesome. But December 17th, like December 2nd through the 29th or through January 3rd, please send me your love and your thoughts and your prayers because I'm going to be in hell.
1000%.
Because that's what training for anything is.
You will be melting down.
I don't think people that go into the Olympics, 3 weeks out are feeling good.
No, hell no.
Right?
All pent up nerves.
I can't think of anything that is worth achieving. There's not a hell of a lot of pain to get through that. So there's going to be a trail of tears on the way. But I am looking forward to January 6th. Like I always do. Oh my God. This is so fun. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, congrats on the pod.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the new logo, blue. I love it.